Hi, this is Teacher Jennifer from US Citizenship Podcast. Today we're going to talk about the new USCIS N400 application for naturalization. On April 13th, 2016, USCIS issued the revised Form N400 application for naturalization. You can see this form at uscis.gov/N-N400. You may continue to use the September 13th, 2013 edition of the form until August 9th, 2016. The USCIS will reject and return previous versions of the form N400 submitted on or after August 10th, 2016. How do you know what version of the form do you have? Please check your form. Go to the bottom on the left-hand side, on the left-hand corner of the page, and you will see the date of the form. New improvements of the form. There's no double barcode, so there's larger fonts and more space. It's a shorter form. There's 20 pages instead of 21 pages, and there are new section numbers. The form has been reorganized. We're going to start going through the form, so if you'd like to follow along, please go to uscis.gov/N400 and download the form so you can follow along with us. Part 1, Eligibility. One of the first questions they will ask you during your interview is, explain how you are eligible to become a U.S. citizen. For most people, they will answer that they've been a legal permanent resident for 5 years, but some people acquire eligibility through marriage to a U.S. citizen or through military service or that they are investors. Please be ready to answer this very, very important question. Part 2 is information about you, your legal name, the name on your green card, the date of birth, and your national origin. Part 3 now diverges from the old N400. Part 3 asks about accommodations. Do you need any accommodations to the interview because of a physical disability? Part 4 is about contact information, your phone numbers, and your email address. Part 5 is about your residence, about previous residence, and mailing addresses. Part 6 is information about your parents. Were either of your parents citizens before your 18th birthday? If they were, then you're already a U.S. citizen. Part 7 is biographical information. Here they will ask you information that will complement the information obtained during your fingerprint appointment. They will ask you questions about physical characteristics, race, height, weight. Part 8 is about employment or school. This section is about how you are financially supported if you don't work or if you don't go to school. For example, you stay home and take care of your family. Please be ready to talk about financial support. For example, if you stay home and take care of your family, does your spouse support you? Part 9 is questions about your time outside the United States. There is space for 6 trips. If you need more space, please include a separate page. Part 10 is about marital history. Are you single, married, widowed, or divorced? It's not only asking about your current spouse, but your ex-spouses and the ex-spouses of your current partner. Part 11 is about children, not only your biological children, but have you adopted any children? Are you the guardian of any children? Or perhaps you take care of stepchildren. Again, these children can derive citizenship through you, so please be careful when you're filling out this information. N400 Part 12. This is comparable to the old N400 Part 11, or if you remember the N400 before 2014, Part 10. Here they're asking additional information about your moral character. It's very tempting to say no, no, no to all these questions, but please read and understand the vocabulary in this section so you can answer these questions effectively and truthfully. First question that they lead off with is, have you ever claimed to be a U.S. citizen? Here making false claim about citizenship. Next, they will ask you about taxes. Most people will be asked, do you pay your taxes every year? And most people will respond yes. However, there are some people who do not pay taxes because their income is too low or they are supported by their family. Please be able to explain these situations. They will ask you if you've ever been a member of the Communist Party or if you have ever been a terrorist. Question 14, they will be asking about war crimes. Some of this vocabulary is very hard and very upsetting to deal with. Again, please familiarize yourself with this vocabulary and be ready for a response. Question 15 asks about military units. In some countries, military service is compulsory. Please speak about your military service with pride. Also explain if you were participating in any paramilitary or police units. Question 16, they will ask if you've worked in a prison or labor camp. Question 17, they will ask if you've ever been a member of a gang or have used weapons against other people. Question 18 will ask about if you've ever sold or given weapons to another person. Question 19 is again asking about military training. Question 20 and 21 is a very sad question about child soldiers. Have you ever forced a child to become a soldier or forced a child to help soldiers? Questions 20 to 29 will ask about crimes, misdemeanors, probation, suspended sentences. There is space to record this information, and please gather together the appropriate court documentation and submit this to the USCIS. Questions 30. Question 30 usually starts a fit of giggling with my students as they say no to I've never been a habitual drunkard or used illegal drugs or gambled illegally. Again, please familiarize yourself with this vocabulary and be ready to explain it if they ask you more about this. Questions 33 to 36 is asking about deportation. Questions 37 to 43 is service in the U.S. military. Question 44 asks about the selective service, otherwise known as the draft in the United States. If you were a male between the 18 and 26 and were living in the United States, did you register for the draft? If you did, but you don't remember your number, go to sss.gov, type in your social security number, and it will return the information to you. If you did not know about the draft, you may have to write a letter explaining why you did not register for the draft. A legal representative or legal assistant could help you with that information and that letter. If you are not male and you don't have to worry about this question, or if you were not in the United States between your 18th and 26th birthday, you do not have to worry about this. Part 12, 45 to 50. Oh, you are so close to finishing your interview. This is where they ask you questions about your attachment to the Constitution. It usually starts off with, do you support the Constitution? They ask you about the oath of allegiance and if you are willing to serve as a combatant or non-combatant in the U.S. Armed Services, and if you are willing to help during a national emergency. Part 13, they ask you to certify that everything that you said during the interview is true, and they ask you to sign the name. Again, you must sign Part 13 before you submit your N400. If you do not, your application will be rejected. Part 14, if you use an interpreter, they ask the interpreter to sign. If you do not use an interpreter, then you do not have to fill out this section of the N400. Part 15, they're going to ask if you've had any help preparing the N400. For example, a legal service such as Siren or IRC or Catholic Charities. If somebody helped you, they should fill out this section of the N400. If you did not have any assistance, that person does not have to fill out this section. Part 16, this is your signature, you sign the N400 at the interview. You do not fill out Part 16 before you send in the N400. Part 17 is for people who were part of the royal family in their old country. This is the section where they would renounce their foreign title. Again, if you are not part of the nobility, you do not have to fill out this section of the N400. Part 18 is the Oath of Allegiance. You will be signing this when you go to your oath ceremony. It's always a good idea to review the Oath of Allegiance, so let's take this opportunity to do so. I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen, that I will support and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by the law, that I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by the law, that I will perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required by the law, and that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Again, you will sign your oath of allegiance at your oath ceremony. So that's about it. Let's talk a little bit about sending in your N400. You have to supply 2 passport photos. your completed application for naturalization, a copy of the front and back of your green card, and a check for $680. If you're paying by credit card, you have to submit a G1450 that authorizes credit card transactions. Final question, where do I send my N400? Please check the N400 website, but on the West Coast, you can send it to Phoenix, Arizona. It's P.O. Box 21251, Phoenix, Arizona 85036. Sometimes some of the express companies do not deliver to P.O. boxes, so there is a street address. On the East Coast, it's USCIS P.O. Box 660060, Dallas, Texas 75266. Again, they also have a street address for express mail deliveries, but please check the website yourself to make sure that you are sending your N400 to the correct address. Again, that address is uscis.gov/N-400. And that's it. Learn more about U.S. citizenship at your local public library. Big shout out to Santa Clara County Library District. And thanks again for listening to U.S. Citizenship Podcast. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.